Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.
Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to welcome back a repeat guest, my friend Damon Burton, founder of SEO National. Damon, thank you so much for coming back.
Seth, I am excited to see your beautiful face and say what's up and chat again.
Thank you so much. We had a great conversation about search engine optimization a couple of years ago. I wanted to have you back to talk about answer engine optimization and the rise of AI and how that is affecting everyone and how it affects you and how you're helping your clients show up in searches like ChatGPT and everywhere else.
Yeah, I think the most important thing we need to discuss is which acronym are we going with? Is it AEO or AIO or GEO or so?
Or A or EIEIO.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with AEO, answer engine optimization. So how has AI changed the way that you're delivering search engine optimization services to your clients?
This is going to be a really interesting reply that'll probably surprise most because it really depends on who you are, right? Are you the customer? Are you the agency? And if you are the agency, are you a big one or a small one? So there's a big difference between all three of those because us as entrepreneurs and our friends as marketers, we get stuck in these echo chambers and these little bubbles, right? So let's go with the answer that most people probably expect. So it is increasing. ChatGPT and all these different tools have had millions of adopted users, and it's going to continue to scale. So there's a lot of opportunity, and the opportunity is going to continue to grow. How has that changed deliverability? On the back end, it's actually very similar. ChatGPT and these tools are really just another search engine. And so if we I'm going to distill 20 years of SEO down into about 15 seconds for everybody. It is just three things. It is how good or bad your website is built. It is how good or bad your content strategy is, and it is how good or bad your credibility and reputation is. And so these platforms look at those same things. So if you can tackle those, really it's just traditional SEO that is also driving this AEO as well. I'll pause there because we can go lots of different paths.
Absolutely. So there are lots of tools out there that are purporting to generate SEO optimized content using AI. How do you feel about those?
That one I actually have a pretty strong opinion. We lean very little into AI output. So I don't have to explain why AI is cool and can save time in lots of different ways. But where I've had a pretty firm stance is really minimizing or increasing your manual oversight when it comes to content output. And the reason why is because of quality control. I'll give you a really simple analogy or like measurement, right? And so we do SEO for a lot of cool people. And if I use like an extreme example, we do SEO for Tony Robbins. And so for him, we do just an average of 10 blogs per month. Now, if Tony Robbins is crushing it and doing really awesome with the volume of that, what we're seeing is we're very heavily, my biggest payroll is copywriters, ironic in the age of AI, right? And so what we're seeing is, let's take an average client, which averages 4 to 6 blogs per month. We're crushing the competition that is doing 40, 50, 60 blogs per month because it's quality over quantity.
That makes a lot of sense. What are your thoughts on the fact that Google's search dominance for the first time has dropped below 90% and more people are using, ChatGPT to get questions answered as opposed to giving them a directory of links?
So this is the fun answer that I was hoping we would come back around to from the first question, is the echo chamber answer. So it is fascinating, and it is cool to see that, Google has to be a little more aggressive in the competitive side and the innovation side. But here's the echo chamber part, is that the it is statistically insignificant how much they've taken. And so when we look at that, there's like a really great website. I think it's ChatGPT versus Google.com with little hyphens in between each word. And they do consistent updates on the data. And so when we look at how much market share ChatGPT has taken away, it's like 1%. And then what's fascinating is all the data shows that Bing gets more search volume than ChatGPT. Now, to rub salt in the wound, DuckDuckGo gets more search volume than ChatGPT. So it's millions and millions and millions of users. It's awesome, but it is statistically insignificant. But the last thing on this topic is what's more fascinating for us as entrepreneurs is the user intent. And so if we generalize it as 1% market share, there only 30% of that 1% is commercial. The other 70% of that 1%, I'm sure you, I, and the majority of the listeners are summarize me text, make me an image, write me a thing. It's a very small percentage relative to the bigger piece of the pie that are actually using it for commercial buying intent.
That's fascinating. I did not know that. So are you then saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, are people panicking prematurely? Is it, hey, this trend may be just the beginning, but it's a tiny amount and you don't need to change the whole way you're doing things yet? Tell me more.
Yeah, and so this goes to the big agency versus the small agency, is we're seeing bigger players and our bigger clients invest more in traditional search, also for the intent. This brings it all home, right? Also for the intent of getting ahead of the increase in AI over time. So it'll continue to increase, but I don't think it's going to completely replace traditional search engines because if you think about it, it's a difference in user experience, and there's going to be a continued preference that gets split between the different types of output. Some people don't want just a straight up answer, and as of right now, a lot of times the answer sends us down to rabbit holes of incorrect answers. But a lot of people want to compare, and they want to click around, and they want to look at the different websites, and they do want the list of URLs. And so if we just think about adoption, there's going to be a slow sunsetting of the people that are stuck in their ways. And then once that sunsets or transitions a little bit more, it'll never go out definitively because it's a difference in user experience. So if you as an entrepreneur want to get ahead of both, focus on traditional SEO because that is what's driving Google, but also feeding AI as it currently stands.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you think that they'll be able to tell and start favoring human written content, your copywriters, more explicitly?
Oh man, who knows? But I'll tell you what's funny is seeing AI platforms repeat all the problems that search engines went through as far as being manipulated and abused by aggressive marketers with things like keyword spamming and manipulation of backlinks. And so it'll be interesting to see because of the convenience, as you said, of just a quick summarized single response. It's here to stay, right? So hopefully they just improve the quality of the output and the resources and understand these trust signals better. And I think that's why traditional search engines still generally, if you're okay with that user experience, still have the more accurate results.
That makes a lot of sense. So, if you're pushing more for, hey, you need to have the foundation in place, what are some of the most overlooked elements of that foundation that we should be doing now?
So where we do see some variation of those three fundamentals of structure, content, credibility is you need that foundation of the structure because it doesn't matter how good your content is if these platforms have a hard time accessing it and digesting it. So whether you do an AI optimization or traditional, focus on page speed, mobile friendliness, easy navigation, things like that. Where we are seeing some deviation in how AI weighs things differently than traditional search results is that third scope of external credibility. And what that is the reviews, it's the backlinks. Do other people talk about you? Do you go on really cool podcasts like Seth Greene's podcast? Do they hear it and they like see these little trust signals? We are seeing AI platforms weigh those heavier so you can compress the time to show up in these AI results if after you have a solid foundation, you go on a media run.
That makes a lot of sense. You have worked with everyone from, as you mentioned, Tony Robbins to, NBA teams and Shark Tank featured businesses. What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of in the context of that ask the mom and pops, right? It's cool to work with these really big players and contribute to their success. But it hits different when you are the catalyst from something to go from a kitchen table idea to a multi-million dollar exit or a backyard garage to 50,000 square foot warehouses by changing the lives and trajectories of these small business owners and then the generations that they serve beyond them and even on my team side, like it's so cool, to start from I'm a kid out of the trailer park to now running a team of 40 plus people and then providing for them and then seeing them provide for their family. And so really it's like the human side of it that I think I take the biggest emotional appreciation for.
That's awesome. What are some of the most common mistakes you see business owners making when trying to get their businesses and their websites found?
Well, nowadays it's historically it's been the structure thing, and so they'll over-engineer a website. And so, in my experience and consistent endless studies, it's actually the more simplistic, the better the website performs, like minimalism and white space and easy navigation. And the more we start to beautify and make these visually stunning designs, the more we actually create friction and complicate things. So historically, it's been that, but I'll probably lean into where I'm seeing it more lately is like I talked about, my biggest payroll is copywriters. And so because AI is so sexy, a lot of us think it's this easy button. And so we get this output that is not necessarily as compelling. And then everybody's going to say, well, it's because you don't know how to prompt it correctly. Well, that's not true because in my own experience and countless studies of other professional marketers, manually written content, human oversighted content consistently performs better. But I think the part that people are missing is not so much to say AI is bad, but human touch is good. Like, do you look at your unique value propositions? And we all have these unique stories that AI doesn't know and can't tell. And those unique experiences that only you have gone through are where people relate. And that's when they hit the buy button, is when they go, I can relate to Seth. I trust him as a human. And so it's a missed opportunity.
Indeed, you have helped so many people achieve all these degrees of success. What's the biggest challenge you're facing now?
So the last, I don't know, 18 months where my priority's been is starting to transition into the training side. And so for that same reason of the human element, I like seeing the impact that I have on entrepreneurs. And so I've been really hesitant to transition out of steering the ship because I didn't want to get distracted by a shiny object and burn it down and lose both of them. And especially when I'm in these high level masterminds and I see other people do amazing things and I'll be proud and go, I added $1 million last year, and they'll go, cool, I did that yesterday. And so it's really hard to like not get distracted. But I've taken my patience, I've been really patient. And as I've, a year, 2 years later into transitioning into the training and my COO is running things, all these other people in these big masterminds said you did the right thing because I did get distracted and I did chase both and I lost both. So now that I feel comfortable with, I really wanted to make sure we protected the quality control before I started to step out a little bit of the day to day. And now I'm starting to host some mastermind retreats and I'm starting to do an online certification program. And so my time is moving more towards teaching other people how to do all this cool stuff, which is great because then it still evangelizes the agency. And so I can do both.
That is awesome. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
It's seeing the impact on the small side, right? Like you get to a certain point of success financially, and the next dollar matters less and less. And I hope everybody has the opportunity to experience that themselves. And so now it transitions from I think in your 20s and into your 30s, it's financial and materialism, and you get to your late 30s and into your early 40s, and you realize it's about impact. So I'm all in on transitioning into the impact side of things right now.
Awesome. Well, we know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate spending a short amount with us. For our folks watching or listening, where is the best place for them to go?
Keep it simple, damonburton.com. And then from there, you can figure out if you want to go down the agency path and we'll do it for you, or you can learn more about the do it yourself and learn the training side.
Awesome. This has been Seth Greene with Damon Burton of damonburton.com and SEO National. Damon, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Hut.
Thanks everybody for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.